this is how I'd learn email copywriting if I were starting from zero. And first of all, what I would do is probably take this hand and slap myself across the face, because I was just like you when I started. I was obsessed with outreach. You know, my journey started in Andrew Tate's course, in his Discord server, Hustlers University, right? And this is what it looked like. You join, and what they teach you first are fascinations, which are just these bullshit ass sentences. It's like, the doctors hate me for doing this, and revealing this nerd Ohio trick to get this Lamborghini money. And then you write a few of those sentences, and then the instructor looks at you and he's like, yeah, he's good enough. Yeah, let's send him to the intermediate stage. And then after you write a few of these Lamborghini Ohio sentences, you're just doing outreach. You're just doing outreach. And from that day on, my life was only waking up, doing outreach, going to bed. Nothing else. The results were so bad. I swear they were so bad. And I saw nothing wrong with that. I mean, I was 17, so my cognitive bandwidth to understand what the fuck I was doing was essentially zero. And so for a very long time, I was a bottom of the barrel copywriter. I sucked. And I didn't get any clients despite all of the hours that I was doing. And you might be feeling the same way right now. You're doing a lot of outreach, but you're not getting anything back. Well, that's because you need to upgrade your skill. And now I'll show you how to go from $0 and zero skill dollars to damn, you're good. That's the reaction I want when people see your copy, alright? Damn, you're fucking good. So let me show you how to do this. We'll divide this video into two parts. The first one is going to be learning. So I'll show you what you need to learn and what you need to know to immediately be a much better copywriter than you already are right now. And show you exactly what I tell my former self, my 17-year-old self, after slapping him obviously. And then I'll show you the execution 30-day game plan. 60-day game, 30 to 60, depends on if you're slow. So, learning. This marker is not that good anymore, whatever. So, learning. First thing that I want you to understand is the basic principles of email copywriting. Why are we doing this even? The most important thing is this. Relationships. Relationships. Why? Because if the reader has a relationship to your client, they're gonna buy from them as opposed to other people, alright? This is just like making friends, and trust me, I have two of them, so I know what I'm talking about. How do you create a friend? How to create a friend? There my cover goes, I don't have a friend. So, first is frequency. If you only see your friend once a month, you're probably not gonna be that great friends, right? Maybe now, yeah, we're adults, so we don't see each other as much, but when the friendship actually developed, you're probably seeing each other all of the time. Just think of your best fucking friend. If you've only ever seen them once a month, you probably wouldn't be best friends by now, okay? Same thing here. You have to email a lot, at least 3 times a week. Ideally 5 to daily. Because the more you see someone, the more their relationship grows. So the whole goal of copywriting, of email copywriting, is not even to sell a product. It's to form a relationship. What else do we need? We need getting to know, not each other, because it's a one-to-many form of communication, not a one-on-one. So getting to know your client. Your reader needs to know your client after reading emails from them. Because imagine if you and I sat down, I was like, 2 beers please, and then for 3 hours straight, I tortured you with business advice. And I was only ever talking about copywriting. Of course, for you that would be great, but would there be a good connection? Would we connect? Would we like each other? Would there be an actual relationship between us? Fuck no, because you know nothing about me and I would know nothing about you. I need to tell you my stories, what I've been through, what I've eaten yesterday, what I've seen, what I've been doing, what I want to do, what are my dreams, my plans. If you want to get to know me, right? And if I want to get to know you. But without that, there is no friendship, there is no relationship. Next, we need trust between us. If I think that you're going to slime me out as soon as you make it, well, I'm probably not going to be your friend, right? So that's the trust element here. Now the trust element comes in two ways. First of all, authority. Can I deliver on what I claim that I can deliver? Do you trust me that I can teach you copywriting? Have I given you enough information about me? Have I given you a reason to care? That's one form of trust. The other one is, do you believe me as a person? How do you achieve this for your clients? This is insanely, insanely powerful. This is what fucking Stalin did in his totalitarian regime, you know? That's what everyone does. Okay, that's besides the point. But you rally a group against a common enemy. Trust comes out of that so much. For example, I always rally against the AI copywriters who just tell you, don't worry about the skill, AI will do that for you, you just do a shitload of outreach. I believe that is a flawed technique, a flawed way of thinking about the world and seeing the world, and I fundamentally disagree with that philosophy. And I will speak against it, even to my own detriment, because these people are way bigger than me in the space, probably even make more money, have more authority. But I still believe that is not right. I still believe that that way of speaking only benefits them and not you. And I want what's best for you. And that's why you can feel like you trust me, because I don't care as much about my financial success as I care about helping you in these videos. And that's what you want to convey for your clients as well. That's how you create a relationship. So what do we have? Think of it as friendship once again. Frequency, we're seeing each other a lot. We're getting to know each other. I tell you, I share deep things about myself, my stories, what I'm up to, what my dreams are, and you do the same and we connect. 3, we trust each other, okay? I'm not gonna slime you out, you're not gonna slime me out. And this is the fundamental of email copywriting. I want that injected in your brain and blood. But now you're thinking, okay, fantastic, friendship. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Relationship, Alessandro, but how do we write that? Do I send an email list saying, hey, do I send an email to my list saying, hello, who wants to be my friend? No. I mean, unless you want to, but you want to use this framework and you want to get away from this framework. PAS is problem-agitated solution, and it works. I'm not saying it doesn't work, okay? People have made a lot of money with it. But I want you to use it scarcely if you want to stand out as a copywriter and actually be really, really good. Why? Because these emails are inherently boring. And by the way, SLO stands for Story, Lesson, Offer. And this one is Problem-Agitated Solution. Let's say copywriter number 1 uses this, copywriter number 2 uses this. Let's start with these emails. They are the ones that are very, very focused on pains and then just providing you a solution, aka the purchase would be the solution. They work in the short term, but they have a fundamental problem. They're not relationship building. They are boring. They don't do any of the things that I just talked about. They don't know you better after every email. There is no trust. There are none of these building blocks that SLO has. And so, if you write a lot of PAS emails, the person that's on the receiving end might read a few, like 6 emails, 10 emails, but then will stop because they will be bored and either unsubscribe or just mentally put you in a basket of, I will check this later. However, if you send people story, lesson, offer emails, they will read hundreds of your emails for months and years on end. And now, which copywriter makes more money for their client? The one who can get people to read 6 emails, or the one who can get people to read 176 emails. This one, not only because the likelihood of converting a person skyrockets, but also because the likelihood of turning them into a repeat customer off of a one-off purchase also increases exponentially. And this is how you define numbers with relationships. This is why you can sometimes see very small lists of a couple hundred people or 1,000 people get a launch of like 37,000 in 1 month. That works only because of the relationships, and you get to that point using this framework, secret framework, story, lesson, offer. And you get away from this one. I still use PAS, okay, I still use it, it's still a valid framework, but I don't use it all the time, I don't rely on it. I use it, for example, when I really want to make a harder sale that day, or when I simply have no stories to tell, because that doesn't happen often, but sometimes it does. So if you ever see me do that, you know that I had just had nothing to tell you that day. And by the way, first link in the description, you'll find my anti-beginner email copywriting guide, where I'll teach you how to almost instantly and permanently go from being just another copywriter to someone who's very, very good and knows what they're talking about. Also, you'll have so much fun clicking through my welcome sequence. It's a choose your own adventure thing. You can read it for literally 30 minutes. It's fun as fuck. You'll love it. So, now that I've gotten my pitch out of the way, I'll do it more, but for now, how do we write these stories? Because if you've noticed, everything runs around the stories. The emails are called story-based emails for a reason. So, what do we do? How do we write this? Again, you have two types of copywriters. Copywriter number 1 and copywriter number 2. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Facts. And number 2 is vivid. So, copywriter number 1 is just like facts. This happened, and then this happened, that happened. And there is telling us not a story to paint a picture, but just as a chain of events. Sure, that's a story, but it's a very bad one. It's not an entertaining story. It's not a story that will implant an idea in the reader's mind. But the vivid story will, because it's just like watching a TV show. That's why they're so easy to watch, right? Because you have the 4 elements, the 4 horsemen of a great story, which are actions, emotions, dialogue, monologue. Let me quickly explain what each one is. So an action is I grab the remote control. An emotion is I was filled with anger while doing that. A dialogue, and I say, fuck you, take this. Another action would be I throw the remote control into my friend's face, though I'm not really sure why I would do that. Monologue is then me talking to myself and thinking, yeah, that was a great decision. So I know that what I was saying, telling this story, you could have literally imagined, just because of this, how I was throwing the remote control at my friend's head, how enraged I was while doing that, and how I thought that was a great decision, right? Because that's what it's vivid. Although I put in 0 effort, I took a stupid example, obviously, and I could have done it way better over text, right? But still, you could have still imagined me doing that. And if I just said I took the remote control, threw it in my friend's head, and he was hurt, that's just copywriter 1, telling the facts. So these are the two, this is the difference, this is the fundamental difference. Now, again, you might think, but why does it have to be vivid? Again, because we want it to be entertaining. Because the whole point is that an email is not an email. An email by itself does nothing. You want someone to read 100 of your emails so they can be a customer and then a repeat customer. So even with small lists, you can have big numbers, and with big lists, you can have huge numbers. That's the point. So vivid, one more time. Actions, what's happening, emotions, what you're feeling, dialogue, what you're saying, monologue, what you're thinking. And this is the basis of any good story. Now, how do you choose these stories? Okay, choosing is very important. Client's life. And there are various techniques for getting stories. I won't get into that here. I just want you to understand, you want to take stories from your client's work. For example, I love the dog training niche. I work a lot with dogs, with dog trainers. And I simply tell stories from their training sessions. It is so easy. Stories from their training sessions, replies to the emails that I send out 3 times a week, business updates, testimonials. And then I just tell stories around these things. Even their lessons, I turn everything into a story. And then I tell it in every single one of my emails. So it's very, very rare that I don't have a story to tell and then I have to resort to a PAS email. Fuck, it's not here anymore. To a PAS email. Very rarely do I have to resort to that because I always have stories to choose. And now, we told a story about the work. But if you just send a fucking story, that makes no sale. What are we even talking about? You transition into the lesson. Okay, we're transitioning into the lesson. What does the lesson mean? So, How long should it be? What should I tell in the lesson? Should probably write that down. Give me a second. Lesson. I hope I'm covering the text with my big bag so that you can be curious about what I'm writing. Okay. So, you want to teach people what to do and why, but not how. And also you want to give perspectives. You want to elevate people thinking in your emails. These are the lessons that you put. So for example, I could write why I don't use bullet points in emails. That would be a reason, like why don't I not use bullet points to write great emails? But I'm not going to make an email about this is the exact technique that you need to implement in your bullets so they can be much, much better, because you're not gonna care because you haven't paid for it. Even this video, if you paid me $5,000 to watch this video, you probably would be taking notes like a fucking maniac. Are you doing that now? No, I mean, I still hope you're learning, but you're probably not just scribbling away every word I say and just putting it on posters on the wall, right? Because you haven't paid for it, and that's normal human behavior. I mean, I work like that as well. So in these lessons, you don't want to give hard value. A lot of people talk about value emails. They're bullshit. They're absolutely bullshit. Why? Because they're boring. They're not entertaining. They're not stories, and people don't care about them. If you just give value in your emails, people are going to stop reading. Although you join an email list because you want the value, but you will leave it if it's only value and no entertainment. So even these lessons, you have to deliver them in an entertaining way, because that's the number one thing in email copywriting, as we've discussed a billion times. Now you get into the pitch. And the pitch is going to come from an angle that is congruent to the story. I know I'm using big words like congruent. However, this is so simple. Like, it's so simple. Like, let's say that you told a story about your friend who is a woman who just recently lost a lot of weight and was very happy in her bikini. Your pitch is not going to be, and if you want to be a jacked man with veins popping out of your forehead, buy my course. That just makes no fucking sense. What the fuck? You're probably going to pitch the same life. If you also want to be happy in your bikini, if you want to stroll on the beach knowing that you're in your most confident self, then you want this course, okay? It just has to be congruent. And now, understand that pitch has to have one angle, but you really want to talk about this one angle, and you want to fucking drill it well, alright? Because, what does this mean? In an email, as we said, they're cumulative, you're only attacking one angle. One angle. So back to the fitness niche. One angle could be, one pitch, could be about how your numbers are going to grow in the gym by lifting. And I'm talking about that. How my mechanism, my method actually helps you grow faster than anyone else. Than anyone else's program. Another pitch in another email will be about how it helps you grow more, not faster. Another pitch will be how it's going to feel easier. Another pitch is going to be how people will react to you. Another blah, 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 blah. Anyway, we have a lot of pitches which are congruent to the stories, and we only ever use one angle per pitch per email. Again, because you want someone to read so many emails of yours and get all of these angles well drilled in. And you attack from many, many angles, and then you get that one right angle in this person, and you convert them. A sales page, on the other hand, is just a sales page. So you want to have all of the reasons to buy, because they're always going back to that one sales page. But with emails, no. You're only attacking one angle per email. And the next phase is going to be a little bit polarizing, probably. You might not like it, depending on where you're from, or you might just love it. But I feel like this is very, very important to speak about. And I might discourage you from copywriting altogether right now, but if this is you, then I just, I'm doing you a favor, bro. English. Now I feel like a teacher. English, Moby Dick. No, not that type of English. You have to be good. Again, your English has to be not good, perfect. But I'll help you. I'll help you right now. I'll give you a few tips. Because I know that a lot of copywriters are not from the US, UK, Australia, Canada, or some other English-speaking country that I'm missing. You might be like me, from the Balkans, or you might be Greek, you might be this, you might be that. And your English is not perfect. I've actually had a client tell me, he was a marketing agency owner, and he told me, hey, your copy is very good. I see you really know what you're doing. That's why I hired you. But your English is not too natural. It's not natural enough. So going to Claude, he actually told me use chat. Chat's fucking sucks. Go into Claude and type this prompt. Make this Make this sound like natural English as if you're talking to a friend. This prompt can help, okay? This prompt will help you. If your sentences right now don't read too well, it will help. Because a huge part of copywriting is literally just that your sentences read well and are smooth. And this is something that no technique will help. No technique can help with. That your sentences are smooth and that they sound like a native speaker. You can only do this to practice. And so you write a piece of copy, you run this shit, and then you don't just copy paste the output. Don't do that. But see the discrepancy. See what is different than what you wrote. Think about why, and discard some sentences and approve other sentences. And then next time that you encounter such an expression, make a conscious effort to write what you learned in the last email. Constant improvement. Immerse yourself in English. Talk in English. You have to talk in English. If you don't speak English ever, how are you going to write it well? Find ways to write a lot of English, to immerse yourself in English shows. Stop dubbing movies. Stop watching those movies. Watch them in English. Immerse yourself in the language, alright? Because as a copywriter, you will never make it without perfect, not good, perfect English. So either get better in writing English, at writing English. No way I make a grammatical mistake while telling you to get better at English. But either get better or just quit right now and find a better business model. You're welcome. Let's talk about execution now. I'll give you a 30 to 60 day plan, depending on how well you execute. This marker is so much better. I'm gonna keep using this. Thank you, Red One. You've served me very well for like 5 videos. Jesus Christ. So 30 to 60 day plan. I want you to write 2 emails a day. 2 emails a day. And I want you to read 4 emails. But which emails will I read? I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you who to follow. Because if I think about how did I become so good at writing, I did that by reading and analyzing the right people and buying courses from them. So these 4 people that I would recommend, obviously this is by no means an exhaustive list. There's so many great copywriters that are out there. But I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you these 4 that I love and that really helped me. The 4 GOATs. First of all, Daniel Russell, and I do not care that I'm just literally giving myself extra competition. I care about you. I want you to learn well. Daniel Russell, Chris, please change your surname, Kowski. I really like Aline Dragoo, and then the GOAT. What the fuck? I made him sound Arab. Aline is 1 word, not 2. Aline Dragoo, and the GOAT of them all, Alessandro Ruric. The GOAT. We're gonna put this is a heart, by the way. So opt into this 4 email list. Mine you have in the first link in the description. And I'll also give you a fantastic freebie to help you become a much better email copywriter almost instantly. But then, Read these emails every day. Get them in your inbox and think about how they use actions, feelings, dialogue, monologue in their storytelling. Look at how they pitch and try and model those. Now, you'll never be able to model all four because they're very, very different. But I want you to pick things that you like from each marketer. And then write 2 emails a day. And write them about something that you like writing about, that you like thinking about. Don't write about the niche that you think will make you the most money or that you can really land clients. What has demand? Fuck no. Talk about something you love and something you're in the market of, so you don't have to do any research because you understand the pain points, you understand the dream outcomes. If you like going to the gym, do that. If you like fucking chess, do that. If you want to talk about copywriting, you're free to do that. And then make up stories or find them online. The stories are irrelevant right now because this is just for your practice. This won't be sent to anyone. So you write 2 emails a day, and in each and every one, you try and make either the offer, the lesson, and the story better, the story more vivid, or to pick a better topic, or to make a lesson that's more interesting, an offer that's more compelling. And as you read these people, you will see how these emails are actually supposed to look like. And you'll find stuff you really, really like about each and every one of them. For example, you might like Daniel's storytelling, just world class. The way he uses word painting, the way he uses words to describe feelings and actions just like they're out of a fiction novel is insane. And so you might like that. You might pick up on a few words, right? Or Chris. What I love about Chris is just how inspirational he is. He's this very, very masculine guy who just sometimes write these emails that are so fucking motivational, and they really have this get off your ass and work type of mentality in them. And you might pick up on that. You might use that in your next email. Or Aline, you might pick up on how this guy loves making espresso at 5 a.m. and he loves writing about that. No, but what he does, other things that are fantastic, like he uses a lot of images, GIFs, and that's so fucking funny. He's insanely funny, for example, in my opinion. Or me, you might like the topics that I choose, the stories that I choose, the young guy stories, like I was drinking with my mates playing pool. And so that's something polarizing. Basically, you'll find things you love about them, and you'll write 2 emails a day modeling things you like. And you'll understand that after 60 days, you will have written like 100 emails. And email 100 is going to be much, much, much better than email 1. And then when you write for clients, obviously, you're not just going to mimic one of those 4, because that's besides the point. You have to mimic the client. But you will know how to build relationships. You will know how to tell a story. If you need to get very inspirational, you know how to do this. If you want to be funny, you'll know how to do this. If you want to be polarizing, you'll know how to do this. Go opt into his email list. First link in the description. So read 4 and write 2. And focus on your storytelling, your relationship building, trust, getting to know each other. I mean, they get to know you. And that's how I'd learn copywriting if I were just starting from scratch. Hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned a ton. Opted into my email list, and see you next time.